Project Life Weekly, we are going to dive in and do something totally different for my Project Life album. I am changing it up already. This is a very long video, so buckle up, get something to drink, get a little snack, and let's dive in. So I'm just showing you where my Project Life album is at. I will talk about it at the end of the video, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to skip kind of chatting about that. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull apart all of this stuff that's in here. So for the last few years, I have been using pattern paper mostly to do all of my spreads in my Project Life. I pull out pattern paper, I pick something for the month. I don't know, I just got in this spot, like in this space where I just started always doing that. I was doing a lot of matching my pattern paper to the kits that I was using from Ali Edwards, the Stories by the Month kits. And then this year I am on a design team, the Pixel to Pages design team, which is some digital product that I've been working with. And originally I thought I was going to try to work it into my Project Life album. The problem is that we're working about a month ahead for that design team. So like currently I just submitted all of my February projects, and so obviously I'm not working on February stuff in my Project Life album, so it's not going to work out for me to use that product in my Project Life album, but I've decided I'm doing something different with that, and I like the way it's working. So the other day I dropped one of my core kits as I was moving things around out of the box, and everything tumbled out of it, and I had to pick it all up, and it reminded me how much I love core kits and how many that I have. I have a ton of core kits, and I think I have just about every single one that was sold, and multiples of them at that. And I decided that I really wanted to use core kits for this year, and I will probably filter in some pattern paper or some designs towards the end of the year, but for right now I'm going to use all core kits. And so I pulled everything out of my album, and I pulled in some extra page protectors because I already know there are some stories that I want to feature for the month of January, and so I wanted to pull a couple different page protectors out. Again, this is why I love having page protectors in the back of my album that I can pull from and work with, so that I don't have to like get up and dig through page protectors to find ones that I want to use. So I'm going to move those all up to the front of the album. And some of this is kind of coming from a space of wanting to do Project Life by the week again. Ali Edwards is diving into Project Life again this year. She hasn't done it a couple years, and she's doing it by the week, and she is giving me so much inspiration. But I know myself, and I know that doing Project Life by the week is not going to work. I already struggle with taking a lot of photos, and particularly this stage of life, I'm struggling taking a lot of photos. So I know doing it by the week is not going to work. So I'm going to do it in a way that I'm doing a little bit more for the month of January. I'm being a little bit extra. I'm pulling out my core kits. I'm going to organize this one a little bit better. And I'm just going to do some extra stuff in January. And then I will see what February looks like and how I want to tackle February. But I'm not afraid to do things different if the inspiration happens to hit me. And so while I'm not technically doing Project Life by the week, what I am finding is because of the way that I've moved my office around, I have my Project Life album out, and it's allowing me to tell different stories or to document in a little bit of a different way. So I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to ride the wave. I'm going to see how it is, and I will continue to share with you monthly how that goes, but I will continue to do Project Life by the month. I know that that's going to work better for me, and I don't want to change that part up.
We're falling out, we have reached disaster. Don't know where we're gonna be after. And we do it all again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. We're falling down, we faded. But I know that we can save it. We're like alpha and omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. alpha and omega. Even if we go all out and break us down, I know we are alpha and omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and omega.
Last night you saw this was kind of strung out everywhere. I took everything out and I organized it a little bit better. This is the Click core kit, and I'm pretty sure I have like 2 of the core kits. I purchased several core kits when I knew that they were basically not going to be produced anymore. And then I also found a whole bunch of core kits at Tuesday Mornings several years ago, like 3 years ago or something. Tons of them hit Tuesday morning for really inexpensive. I think they were like $8 a piece. And previously core kits were $29. So I did organize this. I wanted to show you how I keep my cards. So what I do is how I'm going to use the card is how I put it in the stack. Same way that I organize my pattern paper. Whatever pattern I'm going to use, I face up so that I don't have to back and forth when I'm looking for something. I just know if the card is faced this way, this is how I'm using it. So with the Click core kit, it features 3 different colors. It features black and white, and then it has like a red and white, a yellow and a white, and a blue and a white. So those are the colors. And so what I did is in the back here are the the first and last page cards. So those are on the back. And then I did all of the black colored cards first. And again, I don't use my cards this way. I use them this way. So that's what's facing. That's what's facing here. This and that should be facing the other way. So like this, and then same thing, everyday magic moments. Okay, and then here's these. Now some of these are, like this card has this on the back, but I would choose to use the pattern. So that's how I have it sitting there. Same with this, it has that and that orientation.
We're falling out, we've reached disaster. Don't know where we're gonna be after. And we do it all again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. We're falling down, we faded. But I know that we can save it. Cause we're like alpha and omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha.
Okay, so now they sit in this container. Now the other thing that I did is I pulled out several sets of cards, and I'm going to pull out several sets of 3x4. I'm thinking about offering a little like to-go pack of cards. I obviously don't need this many, and I would like my Click core kit, I would like to fit into 2 container, like 2 rows, and then that would open up a row. I have some other cards that I don't have as many of that I could filter it in. I don't know, I'm just trying to filter out some cards. So I organized these the exact same way. All of the black patterned cards are here, and it doesn't matter what's on the back of these cards because I've organized them so that all of the black ones are here in this pile, and then all of the white ones or journaling cards are here, or ones that just have images, and I don't care about what's here. Like this card, I'm gonna have that card in my yellow set. It's right there. So this way I'm not flipping through back and forth. I don't have to look at this card and then look at this and then decide, or with this yellow one on the other side is this camera. So if I'm looking for the camera, I know it's gonna be in this set, or if I'm looking for a design that is mostly a white card, I'm going to be able to pull that. If I'm looking for something yellow, it's going to be in my yellow stack. So anyways, that's how I went ahead and organized this. This is one of the containers I dropped a couple weeks ago. I pulled it off my shelf. I set it somewhere where it was not stable and it tumbled over, and that's why it was a mess. Most of my core kits are already organized like this, because when I got a core kit years ago, when I was buying them or they were for sale, I would get a core kit, I would bring it home, I would pull it all apart, and then I would organize it exactly like this. So like 99% of my core kits are organized like this. So it's not a big deal. If you'd be interested in, before we jump into my Project Life album and I show you what I'm doing, if you'd be interested in like a little, it would be like, you know, would have like, you know, a couple cards of each design in it. Let me know if it's something that you'd be interested in. If there's enough people that are interested in it, I could put together some of those, and then I would just sell them for really inexpensive. Just to get, if you are like, oh, I missed getting the Click Core Kit and I really like that design and I'd like to be able to do, you know, one of my months with it or a couple weeks of Project Life, and I'd like to have that, let me know in the comments below, and then I'll go from there. So let me show you what I've done with my Project Life album, because I've totally decided to do something completely different. So let's bring my Project Life album over. Let's switch all of these items. Okay, so at the beginning of the video, you saw me pulling out the cards that I had previously set up. And that is because I just have this desire this year to use Project Life core kits, like the old style Project Life core kit kinds of cards. And I probably will still use some pattern paper towards the end of the year when we get into more seasonal stuff like fall and Christmas, Thanksgiving, like Halloween. That's when I'll probably pull in some pattern paper. But currently, for the next few months, I just want to use core kits, and I just want to do things a little bit different. So I still have this completely set up. So I have my lifter page. This is going to be a full photo, 6x12 photo. I will get that printed through the Project Life app. I'm getting ready to put in a Project Life app print order. So that's what will be here. And then I still have this, and then my title page. I don't know that I'm going to put anything here. I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to leave it like that. I really like the way that this came out. And then we jump into January. So in here, I have a couple things already ready to go. The first thing I have is this page protector right here. It's an Allie Edwards page protector, and it's 3x4 slots. I have a sticky note on here that says Science Camp, because this is either the front or the back will be Science Camp photos from my son's trip that he went on with his school. My husband went with him, and that's what that will be. Here is a 6x12 page protector. Again, I'm going to be doing something really different with my journaling this year, and I've been doing it already. I will be sharing it at some point when I'm ready to drop. It has to be it'll probably be next month. You'll see me, or at the very, very end of this month. And I'm going to be using a 6x12 page protector. So I do have some of those in here because I may continue to do that each month, depending on how this goes this month and how I like it, the way it looks. I might do that. So I have my 6x12 in there. I have my calendar page, and then I have this page protector right here. This is a Becky Higgins Design I think Design J. So it has the 3x4 and then the 4x4. So that's what I have in here so far. And then I will have my two Design A's. So I'll have this Design A and then this Design A, and that's what I'm going to work with. So a few things that I pulled out from the Click Core Kit already is the Let's Eat, the word of the year, and then I have watching, and then those just need to be put back. So I had pulled out a couple of these I know that there's one photo that I know this will work for, that I had taken a picture of, and I might put that there. Then I have word of the year. I thought I would put my word of the year here, and then I thought I would document something that we're watching, which might go here. So, and then I have an idea of what I want to do here. So what I'm gonna do is pull some more cards out from the Click Core Kit. I'm thinking that I will either use the blue or the yellow or a combination of those. I don't think I'm going to use the red. And I don't really like the way the red goes with the blue or the yellow. So if I were to use the red, I would use the red and black together. But I think that I'm going to use either the yellow, the blue, or the blue and yellow together. I think that will match my divider pretty well. Not that I always care about that, but I just, as I'm thinking through this. And then I am going to pull some pattern paper to go behind here. It'll be really easy to pull some black and white pattern paper to go on the back of my calendar page. That will match really well. So that's what you're going to see me do, is filter in some of this and set this up a little bit different than I've been doing, and a little bit, I don't know, I'm just wanting a little bit of a change. That happens every couple years where I just feel like I want a little bit of a change for my Project Life album, and I just want to lean into this, and I don't want to do like this. I really wasn't loving this. This is from Pixel to I'll put it up on the screen because my mind is going blank, but it's a design team that I am part of this year, and I was trying to make this work for my album, but the way I have to submit my work for the design team, I have to submit it, like I've already submitted my February stuff, so I can't really, I was trying to make this stuff work for my physical, like for my Project Life album, and I don't think it's going to. So once I realized that I just needed to pivot and do something different for my design team work, which is working out much better, I'm much happier with what I'm doing, I realized I could just switch things up. And so that is what I'm going to do. So let's get started. I'll do a voiceover from this point forward, and we'll get January set up the way I want to get it set up. All right, let's dive right into what I'm doing. That was a really long intro, so if you're still with me, thanks so much for being here. I pulled out some more cards from the Click Core Kit. I decided to go with yellow. It's funny, I went with yellow for the first month of the year last year. I just thought that was a fun coincidence. So I pulled out the cards and I added them to the pockets. I'm using some sticky notes, which I often do when I'm in a space where I'm actively working on my Project Life album, meaning I'm working on it throughout the month. I added some sticky notes just to remind myself where I wanted a few items. And then I decide that I'm going to go ahead and stamp my title card. I ended up pulling out all of my Ali Edwards by the month stamps from January, and I used those a lot in this process and what I was doing. So I'm so glad that I moved everything. And if you are part of the membership, then you saw I did a video where I shared how I moved all of my Ali Edwards stamps around and my Ali Edwards product so that it was closer to me so that I could use it. And in this moment when I was crafting the other night, I realized how important it is for me to have my items, my supplies within reach, because I just use them more. So right there, you saw me cut down a Project Life page protector so that it's just the 3x4 pockets, and I'm going to do something really cool in these pockets. It was really fun. So here I have the Ali Edwards stamps. I was originally thinking about doing this differently, and then you'll see what I end up doing. So I do use one of those stamps to stamp the title card, and I stamped in yellow. I got some of my yellow inks out and found one that matched well. And then this ribbon is on my desk from a different project that I had done, and I wanted to use it. This ribbon I got on Amazon. I really love it. It comes in a really large roll, and I love the black and the white. I trimmed down the ribbon, and then I'm taking a lighter and melting the very end of the ribbon so it doesn't fray. If you just hold it on there for just a second, it will melt it, and then it will prevent it from fraying. At first, I was just going to add tape to these cards with the ribbon. I will end up using my stapler, my tiny stapler, to staple the ribbon because I was just afraid that with it, it's going to be meant to be pulled out of the pocket and looked at. And so I was afraid that over time the tape would come undone. So just putting a little staple in the top of that is going to help keep it together. I had to refill my stapler. This is a Stampin' Up! Stapler. It's been retired for many years. I just bought a lot of the staples so that I would have it. Tim Holtz has a tiny attacher that works the same way, or you could just use a regular stapler, honestly. You don't have to have a mini one. This one just has the mini staples in it. So I did this for all 3 cards, and you're going to see how I utilize this pocket. I'm going to put a picture of the kids in each of the pockets, and then on these cards I'm going to write, originally I was going to do this for all 5 of us. So the front was going to be the kids, and then on the back I was going to do one for Isa and I, where our photos would be on the front, and then the cards would say currently, like what's happening. I realized because the pockets open in the front like this, I could only do this technique where something is pulling out of each of the pockets on the front. So I will end up just doing this on the front of this page protector, and then I will actually, by the time I get done doing this, I end up having a really fun story to tell on the back. And so I will do that, which worked out fine. So sometimes, obviously, if you're doing this by the month, and you're telling just an overview of a few stories that happened during the month, then you're not going to know those stories until probably the end of the month. Now, sometimes I set out to tell a specific story. A couple years ago in January, I highlighted my husband's work. And it just so happened that it was the timing of doing that was really amazing because I had taken some photos of him and I wanted to highlight, that's one of the stories I wanted to highlight in January. And then it would just be a few short weeks later that he would get laid off because the company that he worked for closed and he would end up changing jobs. So last January, I highlighted sunsets. We were just having some really beautiful sunsets where I live. And so I took a bunch of photos and that was a story I highlighted. So sometimes I start out the month knowing I want to highlight a certain story. And then there are other times that stories come up through the month that I want to highlight. So while I was putting together this my album differently, I thought of a story that I wanted to highlight that would work perfect on the back of those 3x4 cards, and so I will do that, and it will work out. Here I'm getting out a bunch of my inks, and I'm just trying to figure out which one looks the closest. I ended up using Lawn Fawn. That is the ink pad I ended up using. That one tends to be a little bit drier than my other ones. My Concord and Ninth ink pads are really juicy because they're brand new. My Lawn Fawn ones are a little bit more, they're more on the dry side, and I don't quite have those re-inkers yet. So I just was looking. I wanted to show you that you could also just do this. You can take a 3x4 card and do some stamping and you could layer that. That's not what I was choosing to do. I was choosing to do a die cut and do, like, my title card was a little bit more elaborate, but I did want to show you that you could keep it really simple by just stamping on that 3x4 card and then attaching it to your 4x6 card, and it would be much simpler. You could also just, there's other cards where you could just stamp right on the 4x6 card to create a title. Again, I was being a little bit extra with this part because the inspiration hit me, and I just think it's so important, if you get the inspiration, if you feel inspired to do more, to do more. with it. And then no, you don't have to do more every time. I will not do a title card like this every single month. It just so happens that I'm excited about this project and I'm wanting to share. And so that's what I'm doing. So I stamped out the January memories. Again, that came from Allie Edwards, the Stories by the Month kit. And then I will attach it with some foam adhesive and that will work as my title card. The paper for my calendar. This part is sped up really fast. I pulled some pattern paper. I pulled some black and white striped pattern paper that's going to go on the back for my calendar, and then I will use the scraps right there for the front of my calendar. And we're going to dive in right now, and I'm going to talk about stamping on my January calendar and getting that set up and just sharing some of the things that I do for my calendar. I know it was a question that was asked last week, I think, in my Project Life Weekly video about what do I put on the calendars, and you're going to see how I set it up. Again, not all of my calendars are going to look like this all year long. I know that for sure there's going to be months that are not like this, that are not this crafty, that don't have this much on my calendar, that maybe sometimes my calendar doesn't even get written on. That's okay with me. I'm never looking for this project to be perfection, and I'm never looking to do it the same every single month. I just ride the waves of inspiration that come my way, and I just have learned to embrace it each month for what it is and not try to have a perfect plan or a perfect situation for the whole year, because it just doesn't work out that way. All right, so I attached a little bit of that pattern paper to the bottom of the calendar that covered up the branding piece that was on there. And then I grabbed my washi tape. I recently organized all of my washi tape, and it's so much better. I was able to just go right over to my washi tape, find some black and white washi tape, and I'm going to add that to my calendar. I do this a lot in my planner, like my regular planner that I keep, but I don't know why I've never thought to add washi tape to these calendars. So I will definitely be doing that this year. Okay, so now I have my Lawn Fawn ink out. So that's the yellow ink that I'm going to use. I'm going to stamp a couple places around my calendar. I love the way this calendar came out this month. This is a fun way to use my stamps. I'm using all of my Allie Edwards by the month stamps. I'm going to get this really close to me. You're going to see my hair, my head, and all of my hair there, so I apologize. That did not stamp perfectly straight, but I mean, on camera you can't even really tell that it didn't stamp straight, and nobody cares, right? That's what I always say. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if it's perfect. Nobody cares if it's straight. And this isn't something you have to do. For your Project Life album, you don't have to do a calendar like this. I love doing a calendar like this. It gives me a chance to use my product. I had so much fun doing this. Now, I've changed the way that I print them. I was printing my calendars on Epson photo paper, and I never could find a pen that wrote nicely on that paper. So all of my calendars from last year, I feel like my handwriting is awful because of the paper. This year I am printing on 65-pound cardstock. It is the cardstock I'm doing a lot of my journaling on, and it's a little bit, it's not as heavy as the Stampin' Up! Basic White. So Basic White cardstock from Stampin' Up! Is 80 pound. This cardstock that I'm using is 65 pound. I get it from Staples. My local Staples is real easy to get it. I actually got it to print out some printables for my planner, and that's originally why I got it. And then I just really fell in love with it. And so I'm doing a lot of my typed journaling on it. And then I decided to go ahead and print my calendars out because It stamps beautifully, and then my handwriting is beautiful on it. And so that was a change this year, and I'm really happy with that. I just print out the 8.5 by 11 calendar, and then I stick it right into my Project Life album, and then I stamp on it. You see here, I add stickers to it. These are wood veneer. These are cameras, and I colored them with a black marker, and then you see I'm just pressing it into my ink pad to get that yellow color. Now at the end here, I am going to end up smearing yellow ink on my calendar because it was getting everywhere. It takes a little bit of time to dry on those wood veneer pieces, and my arm ends up going into it and it smears a little bit. It's totally fine. I'm not even going to worry about it. So I'm going to add those cameras, and then I will continue to add my stamping, and then I will also start to write down a few things, and I talk about what I've written down and some of the things that I write down on these calendars at the end of the video, so you can check that out if you're interested in exactly what goes on these calendars. Is I wanted to add a photo of my hobby, and I came across this kit from Ali Edwards that I had gotten at the end of last year. It's called Hobby, and I took that first piece of cardstock. It's a little bit larger than 6x8. It's meant to go outside of the page protector. You can cut it down to go inside a page protector, but I went ahead and I cut it down. I added washi tape to this other card that I have so that it became a flip out. I printed out some journaling that I had. I just covered a little bit of it up. It just is the last part of it. I don't know. I just wanted to keep it a little bit private. I have this My Hobby chipboard piece. I'm going to put that at the top, and then I will attach that journaling to that side of the card. Again, that is that same cardstock, 65-pound cardstock that I used for the other for the calendar. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. My glue was a little bit clogged, so I have to fix that. And then this whole piece will get put into my album. I keep struggling with this glue. I will put it into it won't have a page protector. I'll just have it in the rings, and you will see that. And then on the piece of cardstock that says hobbies, I will get a photo of my craft room. I will get a photo of that, either a 5x7 or a 6x6. I'm thinking a 5x7, and I will attach that. So there'll be the photo, and then there'll be this little bit of journaling, and it'll be a whole like pop out piece. And then on the other side, I will end up doing something fun with that too, that you will see at the end of, towards the end of the video. So I'm going to attach my journaling here. I could have used sticker paper, but I also wanted it to go over the washi tape that made the hinge for this whole piece. I could have done more of a hinge style like I normally do, but I wanted to add the washi tape. I just thought it was a fun aspect. I have lots and lots of black and white washi tape, so I thought it would be fun to add that. So you see that that flips out. I will add a little bit of glue to this chipboard piece. Again, it came from Ali Edwards. I will add that to the top of it, and then you'll see how this goes into my album. This is just an extra story. I've been spending a lot of time in my craft room this month, and I did that change, and so I thought I would document that. All right, I'm not positive at this point what I've filmed and what I haven't, because I stayed up and I was just doing this late last night, and I was filming pieces of it, but I'm not sure what made it onto camera and what didn't. So let's start from the beginning. All right, so this is Project Life 2024, right? Okay, so I will have my page lifter. This will be a full photo And then I have my items here. Sorry, my camera is plugged in. My cord is showing a little bit. And then I have my title page. So this is the way things are starting to look with my redesign for January. I'm using the Click Core Kit. I have a family photo that's going to go here from something we were at. I have something, I took a picture of some food that's going to coordinate with this card. I also trimmed out, this gave me an opportunity to use this paper that I really love. So I trimmed out some cameras and I put them here. Then I did this, and I am loving this. Now, my original plan was to use the pictures of the kids from school, their school pictures for this school year, which would have been taken back in September. I don't know where I put those photos. I've done scrapbook pages with them. I've done things with them, but I don't know where I put the actual photos. I looked all for a ton. I spent a ton of time looking for them in my office and could not find them. So I did have some of these photos that I had done last year. I used these photos in our title page for last year. I went ahead and used them. And I attached ribbon to a card that is behind the photo, and then so it will pull out. On each of the cards, what I'm going to put is the, oh, I gotta be careful with the ribbon. When I'm putting the ribbon, when I'm pushing this back in, I just have to lift slightly so the ribbon goes back down. My plan is to cut out on my Cricut today letters. So I had, I'm not even sure where it is. I had die cut, I tried this with the A last night because I want to put the initial of their first name over the photo. And I want it to be really big. So I want the letter to be really big. These die cuts were not big enough. They were too small. So I need to cut something out on my Cricut. So there'll be a K, a V, and an A, and it'll be over, and then you'll pull that out and there'll be some details of, you know, their current things that are happening in their life. On the back here, I have a story all planned out that I'm going to tell. I will save that until I print the photos and I am sharing my January overview. I found this card in my stash of cards from Allie Edwards. I added the black dash lines, and so it'll be perfect for the story I'm going to tell for this. So that'll be perfect. Here is where my journaling is going to be. I'm doing something different with my journaling. We're going to talk about journaling probably next week. I think will be a good time for us to talk about journaling. So we've covered supplies that you need to get started. We've done a title page, and then we talked about photos and getting your photos printed and keeping them organized last week. This week I'm sharing with you, I kind of redid my album a little bit. It's feeling a little bit better. And then next week we'll probably talk about journaling so that in February we can just get on with the creative fun of doing this album for the year. So this is where my journaling is going to be, and I'm going to approach journaling different. We'll talk about that next week. You also saw me start my calendar. Now, when you were seeing me actually be creative and do the calendar, you might have seen that I totally smudged. My hand rested on this wood veneer and it got ink everywhere. That's okay. I'm totally fine with it. That happens. I'm not even going to worry about it. I added some paper to my calendar, and then I did some stamping. I loved bringing back doing more stamping in it. And then I have filled things out. So one of the questions that I always get, and I have an entire video talking about calendars and why I use them, but the number one question I get is, okay, I totally understand that you use the pocket for extra things, but what do you put on the calendar? So this is a perfect example of some of the things I put on the calendar. Now we're only up to this week. Currently, when I'm filming, we're only up to this week. So these weeks, I don't really have anything. I have one little scheduled thing that's happening that I was able to pop on there. But like this one has Zane's birthday party. Now this birthday party that we went to, I have a photo of our family that's going here. I'm not documenting the birthday party. I don't need to. It's a family friend. It's not somebody close to me that I would like want that more of that event. I could highlight that as one event, like I'm highlighting this as one event since I do monthly. I could have a page protector that had some photos from the event. I didn't feel it necessary to document that event in that way. I have one photo of us, of our family at our table, and that's what I will use. Okay, so, but I put on here Zane's birthday party. Like, we know that we went there. Then the kids head back to school. I put down when my mom headed home. Kayla had a haircut. Right here, I put a note. My grandma's birthday is on the 13th, and Kayla's birthday's on the 14th. And so I always mark on the calendar, like in my planner or my personal stuff, I always popped my grandma's birthday down. But I also put a note in here because Violet remembered it was my grandma's birthday, and she was upset that nobody had mentioned it. So late that night when she was getting ready to go to bed, I said, oh, tomorrow, you know, are you excited? Tomorrow's Kayla's birthday. And she said, yes, today was grandma's birthday, and nobody wished her a happy birthday. Nobody talked about it. Violet, if you're not familiar, is our daughter that is autistic, and so things hit a little bit differently with her. And so I said, well, why didn't you say something? Like, why didn't you say today is, you know, grandma's birthday? So I noted that Violet had remembered it was grandma's birthday. I also put on here, Esau's had some stuff come up with work, and he's been working longer hours and longer shifts, and I noted that. That's not something, like, I'm not taking a photo of that. Like, there's no way for me to, I could write it down. I can definitely like take a card and write it down and pop it in a pocket and be like, oh, you know, Esau had to work 12-hour shifts all week. You know, I could do that. I like to do it here. It's like a little notation on the calendar if that's what happened. I used some washi tape to do when Esau and Andrew went to science camp, and then I did these little clusters of cameras and then the hearts. I loved the way this calendar turned out. I will not always be this detailed. So that's the other thing I want to mention here at the end of the video. This is extra. This is way, way extra. If you are just getting started and you're like, oh my gosh, I am so overwhelmed, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm extra this month. I am dealing with some anxiety and just some mental health situations. And the way that I tend to cope with those, particularly with, Esau was gone at science camp for a week, and then he's been working 12-hour shifts. I've been here alone a lot, and that's been hard after 3 months of never being by myself. My mom was here for a whole month. It just, there's things, right? And so the way I cope with that is I dive into projects, and I'm so excited about project life this year and what I'm doing and being back into it and just shifting some of the ways that I'm telling stories, that it's been easy for me to be real extra this month. It will not always be like this. There are going to be months like November of last year where we were all sick and I had maybe 4 photos, and it's literally design a calendar, photos, and that's it. And that's okay. Whatever you're doing, however many photos you're taking, how many ever stories you're highlighting, it is enough. Whatever you're doing is enough. And just because you do something really extra one month doesn't mean that every month following that has to be super extra. Just go with the flow, whatever you're feeling. If you need to keep it simple so that you're not overwhelmed, keep it simple. Just pop the cards in, grab some cards, pop, you know, a title card in, pop your photos in, do all filler cards. Don't even worry about journaling. If journaling stresses you out, don't do it. So I'm a huge advocate for making this project easy for you. And I just want to share that I've gone a little overboard in January, and it probably won't always be like this. Okay, so that's the back of the calendar. And then I have my tab, and then I added this. So I wanted to, one of the stories I wanted to highlight this month was my office and changing my office around and my desk and the crafting that I do. And that's definitely, I've spent a lot of time down here this month. So it is natural that that is a story that I would want to tell. Allie Edwards had a themed kit, a story kit that was titled Hobby, and I was going through my stuff and putting some stuff away, and I pulled that out and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. I think it was in October, maybe November of last year. And she had some papers, some of these, and so what I did is I took the Hobbies paper that's a little bit more than 6x8. I'm going to use it outside of the page protector. I'm going to get a 5x7 photo printed of my craft room here, like a photo of my craft room. And then I've done some journaling. I added this chipboard piece, says my hobby. I also added the washi tape. So the washi tape is on the inside and the outside, and it creates this flip up. So then I have some journaling here, some longer journaling. I have just something covered up that I don't want to be seen quite yet. So I typed out my journaling. I did the washi tape so this flips out, and then I'll put an Avery index tab on here as well as on here probably. That might make it stay closed. I might not be able to do a tab, but if I do a tab here so that it's clear that it opens up, and then obviously the photo will be here so it will be known that there's a photo there. I also pulled this out. It says how this whole thing got started, and this journaling is a little bit about that, so I will put that over the photo. So my photo will be here. I will add this piece of chipboard over that, and then this will be closed, and then you can open it up to see the journaling. And that's outside the page protector. On the back side, I was able to just use some more of that camera paper that I love, and then we'll come back to this in just a second. So then I have a science camp. I have a page protector that's going to be science camp, and I have my sticky note on there. This will probably get covered because these are just the cards from the other side. Click will probably stay. It mimics the front part of my album. So that's going to be science camp. On the back, I have these watching cards, and I'm going to document the things that we're watching right now. My husband was last year he was really into the show Reacher, which is on Prime, and over the holiday season he got me hooked on it, and I watched all the first season. We're excited to watch the last episode coming out today, actually. If you're watching this in real time, that's what we'll be doing tonight, is watching that. So I'm going to document that. I'll also document like our favorite shows. We watch Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. We just started watching Young Sheldon, so I want to put that in, and then I'll write some notes. I don't know if I'll need all 3 of these or not. I just popped them in here so that I had them. And then the back of the Design A. So that will be my January. I'm not planning on adding any other stories really into this. This is quite a bit already. So the last thing that I'm going to do is on the back of this, I have this card that says, never give up the things that make you smile. And then I have that one little word card. And what I thought I would do is so I punched a half circle down here so that you would see there was something else below it, underneath it. And then I thought I would take I'm just looking for my piercing tool. When we talk about journaling, but this album, my Project Life album, is from my point of view. It's my life through my eyes. So I'm the narrator of the book, basically. And so that's how the stories are told. I do try to get my husband, like if I ask him to journal something, like I will ask him to write something up about science camp, and he will, because he is the one that was there. Yeah, I really like that. Another just little interactive spot. So his voice will be in here. He will tell the story from his point of view. But definitely the stories that I tell, the stories that I highlight, the journaling that I do, it's from my point of view. I'm the one telling the story. So anyways, that is how I have I've shaken up my Project Life album. Let me know in the comments below if you've started. I've been so excited to hear from so many of you. The videos that I've been sharing, that they've been helpful, that you're tackling this project. And I'm just so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for being here, checking these videos out. I appreciate it so much. And I'm so happy to be sharing more memory keeping projects and ideas with you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in my next video later this week. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that you can check out if you would like. You can also check out my membership options for this channel. I would love for you to join. If you could give this video a thumbs up, that would help YouTube to be nice to me, and I always appreciate when YouTube is nice to me. Have a great day, everyone.